here, and I think we should.
He's here. Let me just give me a second to get the live streaming up and running.
Okay.
Okay, you're all set, Mark.
Okie dokie. So the Little Compton Zoning Board will come to order. I think our first order of business in this Zoom meeting is to call a roll so we can make sure who's here. First name on my list is Fred Berendorf.
Here.
Fred's here. And then Herb Case.
Here.
Herb's here. And William Ryan, Bill Ryan. Bill Ryan.
He's on mute. I think he's trying to unmute. There you go.
Okay, Bill. And Tack Eddie.
Here.
Okay. And Charles Hall.
Here.
Mike Volcarelli.
Here.
And that's our full complement for right now. We have one vacancy since George Goulart stepped down, and we're waiting to have that filled. Okay, so voting tonight would be Fred, Herb, Bill, Tack, and myself. And Charles, your first alternate. Mike, your second alternate. Okay. Also present here is I think Richard Humphrey. Dick, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, and he is
I'm here.
ex officio member of the committee. Carol Wardell, the town clerk, is here, and Edie Marion is here, who's our assistant, and we also have our court reporter Nancy. Okay, our first order of business would be the minutes from our last meeting on May 27th. Are there any comments or corrections? I don't hear any, so I would take a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move the
Second.
So moved by Fred and second by Charles. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I should call the roll, I suppose. So Fred Berendorf.
Aye.
Herb Case. Herb, approve the minutes?
Well, I probably can't vote because I
Oh.
wasn't at the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Not voting. Bill Ryan,
Aye.
Tack Eddie,
approve.
Charles Hall,
Approve.
Mike Volcarelli,
Aye.
and then I say aye as well. So the minutes are approved. Okay. First order of business tonight is a request for a special permit by the managers and owners of Looking Glass Farm. Can we have the announcement read by the Secretary Tack, Eddie, the public announcement?
I'm sorry, Mark, would you like me to read that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Petition of Sunwatch Solar LLC, applicant Peter Hughes, manager, and Norman S. Paul Jr. and Elizabeth J. Peckham, owners of the subject property located at 25 Shaw Road, Little Compton, Rhode Island. Tax Assessor's Plat 32, Lot 17, requesting a special use permit pursuant to Section 14-5.14 E1C. That's 14 E1C of the Little Compton zoning ordinance. Applicant and owners desire to install a ground-mounted accessory solar energy system of 3,500 square feet on the subject property. The solar energy system would be comprised of 120 Q-cell 400 watt panels and 6 string inverters.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any communications from the planning board on this matter?
We do have a letter.
If you could read that.
The letter is dated July 6, 2021. It's addressed to you, Mark, as chairman.
Today off from work.
The salient section reads, Mr. Marinowski made a motion that the planning board recommend approval of this application because it is in line with a comprehensive plan to keep our farmers keeps farming in our community and has met all the criteria set forth. Motion seconded by Mr. Murphy. Voting in favor, Mr. Steers, Ms. Woodhouse, Ms. Satel, Mr. Marinowski, Mr. Ross, Mr. Torsia, and Mr. Murphy. Opposed, none. I should say, Mark, that after I read this letter, I called Mike Steers, the chairman of the planning board, this evening to ascertain if this letter amounted to positive development plan review, which is required under the section in the zoning ordinance we're hearing the petition on tonight. And he responded affirmatively that there was development plan review.
Terrific. Thank you very much. And I would note we are governed by that ordinance. It's in 14-5.14. Very clear, very specific ordinance. Okay, so this is a special use permit. I would note that it requires 4 positive votes to pass. And so who's here representing the petitioners or would like to represent the petitioners?
Can you hear me?
Not well. A little louder, please.
Okay. How about now?
Much better, I think. Mr.
Okay.
Hughes, you need to be sworn in, I believe, by the court reporter.
Okay.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your full name for the record.
Peter Hughes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you can proceed, Peter.
Yeah. So yeah, like the introduction said, we have 120 panels, going to 6 inverters. The array is sort of tucked away behind, in between a bunch of greenhouses and other structures. So it's pretty much out of sight. In order to install the array, we need to deconstruct the existing wind turbine. So arguably will improve the aesthetics of the neighborhood. It's a net metered solar system, meaning it ties into the farm account and only offsets the farm bill. It's not for generating income or anything like that. It's only offsetting the bill from the farm. We've secured a couple of grants for the project. We're waiting on another grant. We have utility approval to build the project. I think we have all the appropriate setbacks for the project, and that's pretty much it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. To be clear, so you're not selling any electricity. Everything is going to the farm.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, it's all there to offset the farm bill. Yep.
So this is an accessory solar energy system. Okay,
Correct.
great. Anyone else have any discussion here or comments?
I do, Mr. Chair, if I could. Richard Humphrey.
Okay,
For the record, so Mr. Hughes, you're of Sunwhat Solar?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And is it my understanding that there'll be 120 solar panels?
Yes.
And that would replace the 150-foot? That would replace the 150-foot windmill on the property?
Correct.
And the wires to the panels would go underground?
Yes. Correct.
And the panels, in your opinion, would not be visible from the street?
Correct. Yes.
And that's because the panels will sit in the middle of the property. We're not concerned about any setbacks, correct?
Correct. The closest we are to a property line is approximately 50 feet on the east side. But I think that's within the parameters that we need here.
And in your expert opinion, the solar panels will meet the special use requirements as also authorized by the town code?
Yes.
Therefore, the panels as installed will maintain the general character of the surrounding area?
Yes.
Have you or anyone on the board received any notification from abutters objecting to the petition?
I have not. I don't know if anyone else has.
Do you believe that the proposed change will not create a nuisance or a hazard?
I do believe it will not create a hazard or nuisance.
Have you reviewed our comprehensive plan, and in your opinion, is this consistent with the goals and purposes of the comprehensive plan?
Yes.
Okay. What kind of base will be put in for these panels?
So the actual attachments are actually what they call ground screws. So it's basically a 6 or 7 foot long screw that screws into the ground. No concrete is needed. And if you're looking at the plan set, there's somewhere around page A08. There's a image of what it pretty much exactly what it'll look like. It's a galvanized steel structure, no more than 8.5 feet tall.
Will there be a fence there to prevent the deer getting into this?
So currently we're not proposing a fence. In lieu of a fence, generally in projects of this size, in lieu of a fence, we will install on the back side of the array, we'll install lattice that will cover any of the cabling for deer protection. That is a code compliant solution. So unless anyone objects and wants fence in that area, but that's our plan currently.
Tell me about fire department access.
So the main driveway, I guess if you look at the site plans, one of the site plans somewhere from A04, the main driveway goes basically right to the array, or right to, I would say it goes about 25 feet to the western side of the array.
Okay. And so this application is an accessory plan, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay.
Anyone else?
You've certainly reviewed the zoning code before you testified today, correct?
Yes.
And you believe the special use is specifically authorized by the zoning code, especially
Yes.
The beginning that we just laid out, 14-5.114 ELC. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. You agree
Yep.
with that?
I agree with that. Yeah.
Do you believe that the special use that you are suggesting meets all the criteria set forth in the subsection of the zoning chapter?
Yes.
Is it your testimony that if the zoning board agrees to grant a special use permit, it will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, nor impair the intent or purpose of the comprehensive plan?
Correct. Yes.
And I think we've already covered this, but that the special use will not create a nuisance or hazard in the neighborhood. You agree with that?
I do. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to ask those questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions of Mr. Hughes? I would just add to the list that Mr. Humphrey went down to talk a little bit about lighting. Are you lighting this array?
No.
No. Okay. No other questions? Then I would ask if there's any abutters present who might wish to speak.
I believe there is no other one anyways. I believe there is an abutter, but he does not have his hand raised. As a matter of fact, I believe he sent a letter to the board in favor of this.
I did not get one in the package.
Yeah, I didn't see one.
I think it came in this week's mail, and it was from Andrew Morley.
She hears.
She
Yeah.
can hear us. Yes,
Can we add that to the record at
yes.
some point?
If you would like,
Daryl, how is that spelled? Morley?
Morley.
Thank you.
I'm going to click on this to allow him to speak. Andrew, if you'd like to speak and add to any comment here.
Yeah, hi, thanks for having me on. I just wrote, my wife and I, Laura Haverland and I live, we're technically not a legal abutter. We live across the street and diagonally, but we drive down Shaw Road all the time, and we are faithful customers of Wishing Stone Farm, the farm that's at the address where the solar array is being installed. And we just wanted to write a letter supporting the use for the special use permit for the array. We think Skip and Liz are at the cutting edge of sustainability and conservation and preservation in this town. And we think that their decision to invest in a solar array to power their farm is just another sign of that. And if we were able to see the array from the street, it wouldn't bother us one bit. In fact, it would just remind us how wonderful Skip and Liz are as people and stewards of our planet.
Okay, thank you very much, and we will add your letter to the record. Any discussion by the board? Okay, then I would entertain a motion here.
I'll move that we approve the special use permit with all the many things that Mr. Humphrey has already ascertained.
Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Who was the first second? I didn't hear.
Herb was.
Herb, the case is the second. Okay, so we're ready to vote. And to poll the members, Mr. Berndorf,
Yes.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Eddie,
Yes,
and I vote yes. So the special use permit is granted, and congratulations, and thanks for going through the process. Okay,
Thank you, folks.
Thank you. We have another item on our agenda for tonight, which is election of board officers. And I'd ask the membership how they would like to proceed here. So the officers would be the chairman, the vice chairman, and the secretary. Are there any nominations for the chairman?
I will nominate Mark Savosky.
I'll second that.
Okay, are there any other nominations for chairman? Okay, do we need to have poll this too? All those in favor? So I would say Mr. Berndorf,
Yes.
yes. Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Eddie,
yes,
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Focarelli,
Yes.
and then I would vote yes too.
Thank you.
So I would accept it.
Thank you.
Present the vice chair. I would nominate Mr. Berndorf as vice chair.
I'll second.
Mr. Ryan seconds. Any other nominations? Okay, so I would Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
order here, Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mr. Eddie,
yes,
Mr. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Focarelli,
Yes.
and I vote yes, and Mr. Berndorf.
I'll vote yes.
Okay. Everybody's proud here. In terms of the office of secretary, are there any nominations?
I'll certainly nominate Tack Eddie to be continuous secretary.
I would second that.
I'll second that. Go.
Are there any other nominations? I would just add, I think Tack's done a great job this year, so
Absolutely.
appreciate
I
it.
agree.
serve.
Superb.
No other nominations, then I would poll the board. So Mr. Berndorf,
Yes.
Mr. Case,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mr. Eddie.
Begrudgingly, yes.
That's a yes nonetheless. Mr. Coccarelli,
Yes.
and then I would vote yes. So congratulations, I think, to everybody here. And I don't think there's any other business that I'm aware of. Carol just told us that she doesn't think there's a case coming in August. Tacker, they passed the deadline for submitting a case?
There's no case in August.
No case in August. Okay. So
We have one in September. Our meeting will be September 15th, if we have one.
Okay, and it will be all in person, which will be
It
terrific.
will be.
Yeah.
And Edie or Carol, I've never received any of the revisions that include all of what we just talked about tonight, that section of the code.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I will resend things to you all, just so that you can update your records.
Thank
I-
you.
Thank you. That's good.
I would also note for the first time, I used the town documents on the town website, and it was very easy to access and just typing in solar energy. And
It is all online.
so I see Skip Paul is here. You should be aware, if you're not already, that your special use permit was granted unanimously. So
Well, thank you very much.
all your colleagues.
I just got in from New Hampshire. I tried to get home in time, but
Okay, thank you.
thank you all very much.
I would also, I would like to thank that this is our last Zoom meeting, Carol and Edie, but especially Carol for all the work that she put in this year. So thank you very much.
Second that.
Here.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
I would take a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay, I move a motion. I move to adjourn, and that's seconded by Mr. Hall. We don't have to poll. I don't think we have to poll the committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?